The world of Fine Time, a colony on an alien planet, appears as an idyllic place for the young and the rich to work and live. However, something terrible is lurking outside the bubble, and strange occurrences have led to an increasing number of disappearances in Fine Time. Lady Pepperbean must face this danger lurking beyond her bubble, and content with an out of control dangerous situation with a doctor and Ruby's help. Welcome, friends and companions. How are you today? Today we have a live stream about a 15th Doctor story called Dot and Bubble. Sci-fi and fantasy fans meet on this channel for fun chats about their beloved books, movies, series, and franchises. We also talk about food and drinks, music, and sport, and a special place on this channel for Doctor Who, my most favorite sci-fi series. More than 16 years on screen. Yes, 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 yes. Um, if you want to contact me, you can put your comment under one of the YouTube videos, or you can find me on the Discord server, Random Entertainment Channel, tag Doctor Who, and you can message me. My name is Enigmatic Joker. This is the Random Entertainment Channel. So, random. And today we have a 15th Doctor story, Dot and Bubble. First, some general info about this story. So, Dot and Bubble is the fifth episode of Series 14 or Season 1, whatever, of Doctor Who. It was released on May 13 2024 on Disney Plus and on BBC iPlayer on June the 1st, 2024. Before being broadcast at 6:50 p.m. on BBC One that same day. While not a Doctor Light episode, this episode focuses less on the 15th Doctor and Ruby Sunday and more on the character Lindy Pepperbean. As such, this makes Dot and Bubble the first episode since Blink in 2007 to focus primarily on a character who is neither the Doctor or a companion. Consequently, it is the first episode to not feature Ruby's connection with Snow. Instead, the episode drew explicit attention to a character played by Susan Twist, an actress who has appeared in every episode of Series 14, Season 1, as different characters. That is the general info. We will now dive into the plot. So, even have you watched this episode yet, this story yet? I highly recommend you to watch it and then tune in. Of course, the choice is yours. So let's go then for the plot. So Lindy Pepperbean awakens in a room from her night's sleep in the city of Fine Time on a sunny morning. She announces Dot and Bubble, which triggers a dot on her bedside table to activate and surround her head in an electronic bubble. Within the bubble are a constant cycle of different people, also online in their own bubbles, each one wishing her good morning in their own way. She proceeds their hellos, but notices one friend is missing. Katik Paul voices his worries that more people in Findham has gone offline recently, but Lindy ignores his remarks, instead following the other's recommendation to exit her bed and brush her teeth. She does so, the Dot's AI directing her where to walk as she can't clearly see anything with the bubble wrapped around her. Once at the sink and brushing her teeth, Linny then cycles through her friends to listen to the latest song released by Ricky September, an artist whom everyone in Fine Time follows. However, as she listens, a request comes in within her bubble from a man, the Doctor. Uh, he tells her that there are monsters around her in Fine Time, but Lindy blocks him as she does not recognize him and goes back to listening to the song. In the background, a large slug like creature watches her. Ooh. Once ready, Lindy walks to work while telling her friends about the clothes she's wearing, the dot directing her each step of the way as she remains ignorant to what is actually outside of her bubble. While in work in her office, she gets another call in her bubble, this time for Ruby Sunday, claiming to work for Fine Time Industries. Linny is initially put off by her, but relents when Ruby insists she answers her questions about her job and her co-workers. Ruby then asks Linda to confirm her co-workers are also at work, since Lindy didn't exit her bubble to check when she arrived. Lindy refuses to lower the bubble, but does peer out between the thin gasps, only to notice her co-workers are not actually in the room and can only see one of the slug creatures ingesting her co-workers to her right. Lindy remarks she wants to continue working and flicks Ruby away to listen to Ricky September's song again. Ruby forces her way back in front of Lindy and convinces her to listen to the doctor, the man she had blocked earlier, as he can help her. The doctor reveals the creature is but one of many that have infested Fine Time, that she needs to walk without using the bubble, as the dot does not appear able to recognize them. Lindy tries to do so, but keeps knocking her desk, as she is incapable of walking, having become reliant on Dot's instructions. She turns her dot and bubble back on and does use it to leave the office. Lindy proceeds down the corridor only to encounter one of the creatures exiting the elevator. Paralyzed in fear, she can't run from the creature, but it decides to leave her be and walks by her. Confused, the doctor ponders why Lindy is ignored while she tries to call the police using her dot, but not to no avail. Once outside the building, Dr. and Ruby convince Lindy to check her surroundings again without her bubble. She does so, seeing several people falling prey to many other creatures. Scared, she turns her bubble back on and instructs it to find her hiding spot. Once hidden, she reveals the environment around Fine Time is hostile, speculating that the creatures have come from the wild woods. She also plays a message from her mother, Penny Pepperbean. The doctor and Ruby remark they recognize the woman. The doctor remembers her as the face of the Vanguard ambulance, while Ruby remembers her from elsewhere. The two decide to worry about this later, as they accidentally reveal they are in the same room and that the doctor is able to call her despite her blocking him thanks to his sonic screwdriver. Lindy then starts a group call with her closest friends, finding many more have now disappeared too. Kodak Paul then speaks up, trying to voice his suspicions, but one of the creatures eats him, cutting him from the call. Doctor takes charge and reveals he has discovered that the residents can escape through the tunnels under fine time if they can reach the conduit in Plaza 55. However, Lindy's dots runs out of power, cutting off before she can learn the next step. Lindy tries to reach the plaza but keeps walking into objects. As she struggles to walk without the dot's guidance, she is then faced with three of the creatures blocking her path. As she nearly walks into one, a voice calls out to her with instructions like the dots. She looks to see it. She looks to see it is Ricky September, also without his dot and bubble on. Once she reaches him, she hugs him as he reveals he secretly doesn't use the dot and bubble much because he prefers to read. Ricky then takes Lindy's hand and they run to the conduit in the plaza together. Once inside, Lindy charges her dot while Ricky tries to contact their homeworld, only to find it too has fallen prey to an invasion from creatures. He lies to Lindy that their people will save them soon before leading her to the tunnels downstairs. Once below, they find it sealed off. Then Lindy reactivates her dot and bubble, recommencing her communication with the Doctor and Ruby. She is devastated to see her friends have not yet moved to join her, with one having also been eating too, but remarks at her joy at now befriending Ricky. The Doctor sends the codes needed for a door to Ricky to input. There are hundreds to complete, but Ricky knows how keypads work, thanks to all of his reading. The Doctor then remarks that he has figured out the order in which the creatures are eating the residents. Alphabetically, using his sonic screwdriver, he reveals the list of residents now dead, with the creatures having reached the letter P. Only one user before Lindy remains, Susie Pentecost, but she is killed just as they manage to connect their call to her. The Doctor then also deduces that creatures are not from the woods outside Fine Time, but must have been created by the AI, within by the dots all of them use. Theorizing the AI has grown to detest them. Panicked, Lindy tries to turn her dot off, but it does not, and instead turns off the bubble and attacks her, as she is next to die on its list. Cindy Lindy struggle. Ricky puts up a metal bar and fights off the dot, while Lindy inputs the numbers instead. The dot outsmarts Ricky though, knocking him down. However, just as it reaches Lindy, she reveals Ricky's real surname to be Coombs, and that he changed his name to September upon becoming a famous singer in a bubble. Ricky looks at her in disappointment as the dot follows its programming and kills him instead. He then exits through the door just before the dot can strike her too. Eventually, Lindy reaches the end of the tunnels to find other refugees from Fine Time with Ruby and the Doctor. After trying to avoid them, she lies to the Doctor and Ruby that Ricky stayed behind to find more survivors before coming through himself. She then learns the refugees plan to leave the tunnels and try to colonize the wild woods, their leader claiming it is their chance to thrive as their ancestors did. The Doctor, knowing that they have no chance of surviving if left to fend for themselves, intervenes, telling them how dangerous the woods still are and that he can take them in his blue box to a safer world. However, Lindy and the other refugees all refuse his help as, because of his skin color, he isn't one of them. Lindy tells him that she can barely justify accepting his help when he was on a screen, and the idea of allowing him to save them now is reprehensible to her. The refugees insist they have a standard of living to maintain, and they won't allow him to contaminate them using his voodoo box, even being in the same room as him discuss them. The Doctor and Ruby are both horrified at hearing this, and the Doctor begs the residents to let him help, telling them they can think what they like as long as they're safe. Refugees ignore him completely, and Ruby leaves in tears, disgusted by the refugees' racist and ungrateful attitude, as the Doctor can only scream in frustration as the group leave for the wild woods. Forced to accept that Lindy and the others would rather die than accept his help, the Doctor returns to the TARDIS, filled with sorrow and anger. That, my friends and companions, is the 15th Doctor story, Dot and Bubble. I will name some cast members. The Doctor is played by Minasuti Katwa. Ruby Sunday is played by Minnie Gibson. Lindy Pepper Bean is played by Kelly Cook. Ricky Stemmer is played by Tom Rhys Harris. Cooper Mercy is played by Annette Lone. Harry Tennessee is played by Aldous Circolo Squire. Uchi Pai is played by Neve Lynch. Valerie Nook is played by Millie Kent. Blake Very Blue is played by Billy Bradshaw. Kotick Paul is played by Pete McHale. Dr. P is played by Max Boost. Rotterdam Twin 1 is played by Eloise Bennett. Rotterdam Twin 2 is played by Olivia Bennett. Waterman Whale is played by Jack Forsyth Noble. Alan Key Sullivan is played by Milo Callaghan. Penny Pepper Bean is played by Susan Twist. Susie Pentecost is played by Ellie Grace Cashin. And Brewster Cavendish is played by Jamie Barnard. That's some cast members. In the world building, both Ruby and the Doctor are attracted to Ricky September. Some story notes. Russell T Davies stated that the idea for the episode was originally pitched back in 2010 to Stephen Moffat for season 5. But discussion only lasted a few minutes before it was decided that it would be impossible to make at the time. Other thing is that Davies had admitted he took inspiration for his episode from Black Mirror in its episode Nosedive. Third thing is that the episode had various working titles such as Monsters Everywhere, and IRL. Fourth thing is that the dot used by Fine-Time residents looks similar to a device called Light Bee from the television show Red Dwarf. The fifth thing is that the name Vivian Nook, one of Lenny's friends, is similar to Vivian Rook, a character from Years and Years, another television show written by Russell T Davies. Sixth thing is that much like his incarnation of the Doctor in this episode, Nsuti Gatwa also had to deal with racist remarks when he was announced as the 15th Doctor. Another thing is that the Fine-Time residents' racism is hinted at, or at least very least illuminates several moments between them and the Doctor prior to the episode's final scene. When the Doctor first appears in Lindy's bubble, she immediately blocks him in outrage. When Ruby appears, Lindy is annoyed but does not dismiss her immediately. Lindy is upset at the idea that the Doctor and Ruby are in the same room. Shortly after this, Lindy realizes the Doctor is the same man she blocked in the morning and states, "I thought you just looked the same." And when introducing the Doctor to her friends in the bubble, she alludes to him being disciplined after the crisis is finished, noting, quote, "He's not as stupid as he looks," end quote. And another thing is that Russell T Davies has acknowledged his hope that some viewers would notice from the very beginning of the episode that the residents of Fine-Time are all visibly white, which could be taken as an early sign of the episode's final twist. There are some between the BBC and Disney Plus versions. That is at the starting with the episode, Disney Plus included Doctor Who in its quote Pride end quote collection of television shows and the movies. Concurrently, the Doctor's actor Nsuti Gatwa is square in real life. The Doctor made multiple passing comments about being attracted to Rick September in his episodes. There are some myths. That is that Ricky September would have a connection to Ruby Sunday due to their similar names, but no such connection was established in the episode, actually. The film locations for this story is in Swansea University Bay campus and Cardiff Bay Barracks. So, and last thing I want to talk about is the continuity. And I repeat myself again and again in every live stream. To some extent, stories and episodes in the Doctor Who universe are connected to each other. They are to link to each other, have reference to each other. So it's always an interpretation, and every time you watch or rewatch an episode, you see other things. And but I have I have 8 points in the continuity. And that is point one. The 15th Doctor recognizes Penny Pepperbean as the face of AI on the villain guard ambulances from Casterion 3, as depicted in TV story Boom. While Ruby Sunday says he recognizes her from elsewhere, recalling other characters with similar appearances that were seen in TV stories The Church on Ruby Road as a Christmas special. Space Babies, the first episode of season 1. Devil's Court, the second episode of season 1, and 73 Yards. Previous episode, story before this story, before Dr. Mobile. Second thing is that the Doctor still calls the TARDIS a ship. Previously did so in TV story Twice Upon a Time. That is a 12th Doctor story with Peter Capaldi when he's regenerating to the 13th Doctor, Jodie Whittaker. The third thing is that Doctor is wearing the outfit he wore in TV story The Church on Ruby Road. Christmas special with the 15th Doctor. Fourth thing is that the Doctor describes the dot as an, quote, anti-quote, end quote, psycho-combination device. Either the usage of the word mevity instead of gravity has worn out. Or this is an oversight by Russell T Davies. We see that in TV story Wild Blue Yonder. That is with the 14th Doctor and 14th Doctor David Tennant and the companion Donna Noble. A fifth thing is that the Doctor remarks that his TARDIS can't enter Fine Time because of its Heil shielding. The TARDIS was previously unable to enter the Black Archive in London for similar reasons. He said in the TV story The Day After Doctor. And yes, that's with the 11th Doctor, Matt Smith, and actually also with the 10th Doctor, David Tennant, and the War Doctor, John Hurt, as a 50th anniversary special. David Doctor. A sixth thing is that Lenny tries to call the police from our homeworld, but is consistently dismissed by the automated message that lines are busy. The 10th Doctor faced a similar dilemma in TV story Gridlock. A seventh thing is that the Doctor experiences racial prejudice from the residents of Fine Time. Martha Jones and the 10th Doctor previously dealt with racism in 1599 during events of TV story The Shakespeare Code, and in 1913 during events of TV story Human Nature and the Family of Blood. Bill Platts and the 12th Doctor also talked about racism during the 1814 Frost Fair, as seen in TV story Ten Eyes. Ryan Sinclair and Yasmin Khan also had to deal with racism for much of their lives, as presented in prose The Good Doctor and TV story Rosa, with the 13th Doctor, Jodie Whittaker. And the last thing is that the locals of Fine Time refusing the Doctor's help because of prejudice is similar to how Dravins refused the help of Rails for a similar reason in TV story Galaxy 4. That is with the first Doctor, William Hartnell, and the companions Vicky and Stephen. And also how many Khaleds rejected the idea of many, including Major Broken and scientist Shan, making peace with the Tals in the audio story Innocence and Corruption. And so that, my friends and companions, is all I wanted to say about Doctor Who story Dot and Bubble. Some has been some commercial. Um, yes, you can contact me via YouTube. You can put your comment under this video, under one of the videos, or you can send me a message via Discord server, and that is Random Entertainment Channel Tech Doctor Who, and you will find me very quick. You can send me a message. Um, you can contact me for your IDs in for a nice chat. You also can contact me for joining me for a live stream or panel. Feel free to contact me for that. You are invited for a live stream or panel in one of the live streams. And also feel free to contact me for your YouTube channel or your live stream on your channel, because I want to contribute on also on other YouTube channels. I want to network and make friends. So you are invited for my channel, for my live stream, and you are free to invite me for your channel and live stream. So that's it to say. I want to thank you, and yeah, I want to wish you a very nice day. And about a few hours, we have a few hours to wait, and then we will have a new Doctor Who story on Disney Plus and the BBC iPlayer, and that is called Rogue. Rogue. Uh, so, I want to say, have a nice weekend, all, and enjoy your day. Enjoy Doctor Who. For now, see you later. Bye bye.